Welcome to the AI Daily Deep Dive. Now, this entire deep dive into today's top 5 AI news stories, that's Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Well, it's been researched and generated entirely by AI.
That's right. And we're jumping straight into some pretty interesting updates today.
Yeah, definitely. We've got everything from potentially revolutionary communication tech to a publishing mess up that, well, raises some questions.
And even the environmental side of AI, which, maybe doesn't get talked about enough.
Exactly. So quite a mix today.
It really is a good snapshot of just how fast things are moving, across different areas, big tech announcements, AI bumping up against creative fields.
Right.
How we think about art, how it's changing banking, and that environmental footprint.
Okay, let's dive right in then. First up, Google I/O 2025. Sounds like they are really going all in on AI integration.
Oh, absolutely. They announced a lot. The first thing that jumps out is Google Beam. You might remember it as Project Starline.
Vaguely, yeah. What's the latest there?
Well, they're calling it an AI-first 3D video communication platform. Sounds pretty futuristic.
3D video calls? How does that even work?
It uses, get this, 6 cameras and a whole lot of AI to take your normal 2D video feed and kind of build it into an immersive 3D image.
Okay.
Plus, it uses something called a light-field display. Think of it like capturing light direction to give real depth. And it renders at 60 frames per second.
So super smooth, like the other person is actually there.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. Near-perfect head tracking, really natural interaction, almost like, sharing the same space.
Wow. And it's just a concept or?
No, they're actually partnering with HP to release the first devices later this year to select customers initially, but still.
That is fast.
Yeah.
Okay, what else from Google? Real-time speech translation in Meet.
Yes, and this sounds really interesting. It's not just translating the words.
Oh.
They're aiming to match the speaker's actual voice, their tone, even their facial expressions in the translation.
Seriously. That would be incredible for global teams.
Totally. They're starting with English and Spanish in beta for their AI Pro and Ultra subscribers.
Gotcha. Paid tiers.
For now, yeah. But they plan to add more languages later.
Okay. And Gemini, their AI assistant, is getting an upgrade too. Gemini Live.
Right. Building on Project Astra, they want it to be this sort of universal AI assistant. It can use your phone's camera, share your screen.
So it can see what you're seeing or doing.
Exactly. The examples they gave were things like helping you prep for an interview or even giving you tips while you're training for a marathon.
Okay. So much more interactive.
Yeah, and it's already on Android, rolling out to iOS. Seems like a big push.
And they're putting AI right into search now. AI mode.
The idea is more conversational search. You can ask more complex questions, follow-ups.
Like having a chat with Google search.
Sort of, yeah. It uses their search index, naturally, but also this query fan-out system to pull diverse responses.
How does that fit with the AI overviews they already have?
They say it's a complement, not a replacement, so another way to explore information alongside those quick summaries.
Got it. And the core AI model, Gemini, also got an update, 2.5.
Yep, Gemini 2.5. The big things there are better multimodal understanding.
Yeah.
It's better at understanding information from different sources together, text, images, audio, video. Just gets the context better, plus improved reasoning, and it's integrated into more platforms. And they're giving developers tools to use it more easily.
Okay. Now for the real power users, they launched Google AI Ultra, $250 a month.
Whoa. Yeah, that's steep.
Definitely a premium price.
It gives access to their absolute top-tier AI models, plus features like Project Mariner for better multitasking. Seems aimed squarely at businesses or maybe researchers, people who need that absolute peak performance.
Makes sense. And in the creative space, Flow, an AI filmmaking app.
Yeah, this uses their VO3 video model, Imagen 4 for images, and Gemini. Basically, you give it text prompts or images.
And it generates video clips.
That's the idea. Making video creation easier, more accessible, even if you don't have, technical filmmaking skills.
Interesting. And finally from Google, Project Aura, AR glasses.
Right. They're working with partners like Xreal on this. These glasses are meant to bring AI features directly into your view.
Like what kind of features?
Real-time navigation overlays, instant translation of speech you hear, streaming what the camera sees, all powered by Gemini AI.
So AI is really moving beyond just the phone or computer screen.
Absolutely. Yeah. That seems to be a major theme here, weaving AI into, everything.
Okay, huge amount from Google.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears now. There was this incident. Several big U.S. newspapers accidentally published an AI-generated summer reading list.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. The Chicago Sun-Times, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Quite a few papers ran it.
How did that happen?
Well, the list itself, summer reading list for 2025, it wasn't created by the newspapers. It was syndicated content.
Meaning they bought it from somewhere else.
Exactly. It came from King Features, which is part of Hearst Newspapers. The local papers just ran it as licensed content.
And the problem was?
The list had 15 book recommendations. Only 5 of them were actual real books.
Wait, 10 were completely made up.
Yep. Fabricated titles, fake authors, even little summaries. All AI generated, apparently.
Can you give an example?
Sure. There was one called Tidewater Dreams, supposedly by Isabel Ellen, about climate fiction. Never happened. Another, The Rainmakers by Percival Everett, about, artificial rain in the future West. Also fake.
But it had real books mixed in, too.
Yeah, things like Dandelion Wine, Bonjour Tristesse, which maybe made it harder to spot the fakes,
So who was behind this syndicated list?
A freelance writer, Marco Buscaglia, came forward. He admitted he used AI to help create the list and took responsibility, saying he regretted the error.
Wow. What was the reaction? People must have been pretty upset.
Oh, definitely. Online comments were not happy. People talking about AI slop, questioning journalistic standards.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and author Kelly Jensen pointed out the irony of this happening while libraries struggle for funding. It really hit a nerve.
Did the newspapers respond?
Victor Lim from Chicago Public Media, which owns the Sun-Times, acknowledged the error. He stressed it was licensed content, but said publishing inaccuracies isn't okay, and they're investigating how it slipped through.
It really highlights the need for vetting, doesn't it? Especially with AI content.
Absolutely. Fact-checking, editorial oversight, it's still crucial, maybe even more crucial now.
Okay, moving from AI mistakes to maybe more philosophical questions. There was an opinion piece in The Guardian about AI art and human connection.
Right, by Eric Reinhardt. It takes a slightly different angle than just, is AI art original?
What's the main point?
Reinhardt argues that art historically has been really important for human connection. It helps us share experiences, find comfort, build community.
Okay, that makes sense.
But he suggests that AI-generated art, because it doesn't come from a human's lived experience, emotions, or specific intentions, well, it might lack that ability to truly connect people on that deeper level.
So even if an AI song makes you feel something?
He calls that maybe an illusion of connection. You might react emotionally, sure, but it's a one-way street. There's no shared human story or reciprocal feeling coming back from the AI creator because, well, there isn't one.
So the worry is that AI art could somehow devalue human art.
That's part of it, yeah. A concern that as AI art becomes more common, we might lose something important about human expression and the connections it fosters.
Could it make us more isolated?
That's a potential consequence he raises. If we spend more time engaging with machine-created content instead of human-created content, maybe it does contribute to loneliness. He basically urges us to stay vigilant about preserving those human elements that make art vital.
A lot to think about there. Okay, let's switch to another big area, banking. AI is making waves there too, right?
Oh, definitely. We looked at a discussion between Penny Crosman from American Banker and Theo Lau from Unconventional Ventures. Lau noted how quickly banks are adopting AI, especially generative models.
Across the board, or in specific areas?
Pretty much across various departments. But a big focus seems to be on enhancing the customer experience.
How so? What are they using AI for with customers?
Things like more personalized financial advice, improving customer service through chatbots or virtual assistants, offering product recommendations that are actually tailored to you.
Trying to make banking feel more intuitive, I guess.
Exactly. Meeting those customer expectations for seamless, helpful interaction.
But banking involves people's money, sensitive data. Are there concerns being raised?
Huge ones. Lau really stressed the ethical side of things and the absolute need for human oversight.
So not just letting the AI run wild.
No, definitely not. There's caution about relying too heavily on automated systems. Transparency and accountability are key, knowing why an AI made a certain decision, especially if it affects a customer financially. That's crucial for trust and, keeping regulators happy.
So AI is more of a tool for bankers, not a replacement.
That seems to be the consensus view, yeah. AI as an augmentative tool, something that helps human bankers do their jobs better, make better decisions. It's about finding that balance between AI's power and human expertise for the best customer outcomes.
Makes sense. Okay, our final topic, and it's a big one. AI's environmental impact. the energy and climate footprint.
Yeah, this is becoming a major point of discussion. The rapid growth of AI comes with significant environmental costs. We're talking energy consumption, carbon emissions, and even water usage.
Let's start with energy. Training these huge models must take a lot of power.
A massive amount. The estimates for training something like GPT-3 were staggering. Its carbon footprint was compared to hundreds of round-trip flights or many cars driven for a year.
Wow. And that's just training. What about running them day to day?
Right. The data centers running these AI workloads consume enormous amounts of electricity. Projections show AI-related electricity demand could skyrocket by 2030, potentially making up a noticeable chunk of global consumption.
It means more carbon emissions, presumably.
Exactly, especially if that electricity isn't coming from renewable sources. The estimated greenhouse gas emissions from AI are already significant and projected to grow substantially.
And we saw reports that some tech companies are even investing in fossil fuels to power AI.
Yeah, that's pretty concerning. Reports of new gas-fired power plants being built for data centers, big investments in natural gas by major players. It really risks undermining climate goals if AI growth is fueled by burning more fossil fuels.
Okay, besides energy, what about water usage? I didn't realize that was such a factor.
It's mainly for cooling. Data centers generate a ton of heat, and they often use water-based cooling systems.
How much water are we talking about?
Again, the numbers can be surprisingly large. Training GPT-3 reportedly consumed an amount of fresh water equivalent to filling hundreds of swimming pools. And the projected annual water withdrawal for AI globally by 2027 could be comparable to the total amount used by entire countries like the Netherlands or Denmark.
That's huge, especially in places where water is already scarce.
Precisely. It's a serious concern, and it's pushing exploration into alternative, less water-intensive cooling methods.
Is it hard to get a clear picture of this impact? Are companies transparent about it?
That's a big part of the problem, a lack of transparency. Many major tech companies don't publicly disclose detailed figures on their energy and water use specifically for AI.
So we don't really know the full extent.
It's difficult to track accurately. There are initiatives like the AI Energy Score project trying to encourage reporting, but adoption is limited. There are calls for mandatory disclosures so consumers and policymakers have a clearer idea.
So what can be done? How can we mitigate this environmental footprint?
Several strategies are being discussed. Making the AI models themselves and the hardware more energy efficient is key.
Right.
Powering data centers with renewable energy sources, obviously. Implementing regulations that push for transparency and efficiency standards, like some legislation being considered in places like Virginia. And just building sustainability into the design process for AI systems from the start.
Okay, so quite a range of potential solutions, but clearly a challenge that needs serious attention. All right, so today we've covered a lot. Google's big AI push across its products.
The AI reading list blunder.
The questions around AI art and human connection.
AI's growing role and the associated responsibilities in banking.
And finally, this critical issue of AI's environmental impact.
It really shows how AI is touching almost every aspect of our world now, bringing both incredible possibilities and some very real challenges.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. As AI gets woven deeper into our lives, our communication, our culture, our finances, even our reading lists, what are those unseen consequences, the things we really need to actively think about, from, the authenticity of information we consume to the very resources like energy and water it uses?
It's a crucial question. How do we balance all this exciting potential with those fundamental human needs for connection, for trust, and ultimately for a sustainable planet? Lots to keep considering.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this AI Daily Deep Dive. We hope you'll continue to think about these developments. Until next time.